All right, so today we are diving into the history of the Kalos region for a story about what might just be the single longest, most tragic, and honestly kind of hilarious bad day in history. We're talking about a king whose little grief project went, well, let's just say it went a tiny bit off the rails. Let's get into it. Look, we've all had those moments, right? You hit reply all on an email you shouldn't have, you forget a birthday. But have you ever messed up so badly, so spectacularly, that it takes you 3,000 years to fix it? Yeah, 3,000. Well, the king we're talking about today, that's his whole story. So who is this master of the monumental screw-up? His name is Az. And according to the legends from Kalos, he was this ancient king, right? But he was also like a part-time engineer and I guess a full-time cautionary tale. Seriously, this guy is a walking, talking 3,000-year-old example of what happens when you decide not to deal with your feelings in a, healthy way. Okay, so let's set the stage. AZ's story, it doesn't really start with him being some evil guy. It starts with heartbreak. The problem wasn't the grief, not really. It was let's call it his response to that grief. A response that was, shall we say, not exactly proportional. So here's the setup. There's this massive, brutal war tearing through ancient Kalos. Pokémon are being dragged into it, and in all the chaos, the king's absolute favorite Pokémon, his cherished Fluette, gets killed. He's completely devastated. So he does what any of us would do if we were, a grieving king with a secret engineering degree. He builds a machine to bring his friend back to life. Okay, so far it's tragic, it's a little extra, but you can kind of get it. But this is where the story takes a very, very sharp turn. And get this, the machine works. I mean, it actually brings his Fluette back from the dead. And, oh yeah, as a little side effect, a fun little bonus feature he didn't plan for, it makes them both immortal. So, happy ending. Story's over, right? Oh no, not even close. So wrong. See, at this point, his grief had basically soured. It turned into pure uncut rage. Getting his friend back just wasn't enough to scratch the itch. He looks at this life-giving resurrection machine and thinks to himself, you know what this is missing? The ability to vaporize a continent. He decided the best way to end the war was to end, well, pretty much everyone in the war. So he gets to work. He turns his machine into something they called the ultimate weapon. And to power this thing, he uses the literal life energy of countless other Pokémon, just feeds them into it. He fires it off, and just like that, the war is over. Why? Well, because there's nobody left to fight. Both sides are just gone. I mean, talk about an effective strategy, right? Mission accomplished, I guess. So, to recap, war ended. You're immortal, your best friend is back. Sounds like a pretty good day, all things considered. But for Azzy, this is where the real trouble begins. This is the start of the real bad day, the 3,000-year one. And here it is, the punchline, the absolute chef's kiss of irony. His Fluette, the entire reason he did all of this, it comes back to life, takes one look around at this giant death ray powered by the souls of its fellow Pokémon, and is just absolutely horrified. It's so disgusted that it just ghosts him, bails, leaves him on read for 3 millennia. And that was it. That's when his real punishment kicked in. He's immortal now, sure, but he's also been dumped by the one creature he did it all for. So he's left to just wander the earth in regret. For how long, you ask? Not a week, not a year, not 100 years, 3,000 years. Just walking, moping. Can you even imagine how boring that would be? So let's just put this in perspective. Expectation. I'm going to live forever with my best buddy, my little flower friend. It's going to be great. Reality. I'm going to walk the earth alone for all of human history because I got dumped for committing several light war crimes. It's just a spectacular Hall of Fame level failure. All right, fast forward 3,000 years. This guy has been wandering around since before the pyramids were new. You'd think his big comeback, his return to the world, would be something epic, right? Like a prophecy is fulfilled, the heavens part, something dramatic. Yeah, no. The reality was, well, it was way more awkward than that. So, according to the records, after all this time, a kid named Emma just finds him. And where is this ancient immortal king? Is he on a throne in a lost kingdom? Is he meditating on some mystical mountaintop? Nope. He's in jail. Just a regular old jail cell. I really need you to let this sink in. The immortal, 9-foot-tall king who built an apocalypse machine was just sitting in jail. And a teenager named Tierno, had to come and get him out. It's the most anticlimactic comeback in the history of comebacks. It's almost beautiful, really. So you'd think, okay, he's out of jail, maybe now he can finally chill out. But nope. The universe basically looks at its watch and goes, oh, right, time to pay the bill for that little incident 3,000 years ago. Because, of course, his ultimate weapon is back. Yep, turns out a new group of villains, a very stylish, very fashion-forward group of villains called Team Flare, they've dug up his old toy. And their leader, this guy Lysander, wants to fire it up again to make his own version of a perfect world. So AZ's past isn't just haunting him figuratively, it's literally a giant cannon aimed at the present. So, what does our legendary, ancient king do to help stop this? How does he contribute to saving the world from his own creation? Well, his role is, let's say, supportive. He basically just stands there and watches a bunch of teenagers do all the actual work of saving the world. He's less of a key player and more of a tall, sad, emotional support giant. Okay, so this brings us to the end. The world is saved, no thanks to him really, Team Flare is defeated, and AZ, he finally seems to be getting some closure. But what happens next? What he does with the rest of his eternal life? This is the real punchline to this whole 3,000-year-long joke. After watching you, the player, battle with real passion and a genuine bond, something finally shifts in him. He challenges you to one last battle, not to win, but just to finally get it. And in that moment, he lets go of all that anger he's been carrying. And his Fluette, sensing this change from who knows where, finally, after 3,000 years, comes back to him. It is genuinely a really sweet moment. So, what now? What do? You're immortal, you've finally found peace, your soulmate is back by your side. The possibilities are endless, right? Do you become a wise guardian of the world? Do you travel to distant lands? What incredible, epic destiny awaits this ancient, redeemed king? Hotel management. He goes into hotel management. Yeah. Records show he's the owner of the Hotel Z in Lumiose City. I am not kidding. The guy who built a super weapon powered by souls is now in the hospitality business. I can just picture the welcome speech. The continental breakfast is from 7 to 10. And that just leaves us with one final question to chew on. After 3,000 years of wandering the globe in sorrow and regret, is running a hotel, dealing with angry customers and clogged toilets for the rest of eternity, is that true redemption, or is it just a different kind of hell? I'll let you be the judge of that.